Welcome back. First Takedown podcast, episode 32. We thought we wouldn't be back, but we're here.
Two episodes since the
episodes.
season, since the college season's ended,
Hey, yeah. Well, we knew, it's funny because last year we started like right at the end of the wrestling season because we just got really excited. We're like, we want to talk about wrestling. Started the podcast. And then we were doing like an episode every week after that, or like, every other week. And now we're doing like once a month. But hey, that's on me. And it's just, we're at the time. We're got a 2-month-old officially now. So that's exciting. But
yeah,
we're back. And, the wrestling world, there has been some really good stuff, some pretty crazy stuff, but
yeah. But it's quiet, quiet on the front for now.
yeah,
It'll be, once you settle down. Obviously, we talked about you having your kid and everything on the last one, but it didn't just all of a sudden, the last podcast happened and then you just stopped having a kid at that point.
right.
You still
Yeah.
have to have one every single day that, and you'll continue to have those responsibilities. But for me, I've actually been traveling a lot, so it's been good. I've been able to kind of like go off without having to bring a microphone or anything,
Yeah, a
like
little sabbatical.
which now I've got this little smaller microphone set up, which is good. And so I'll be able to take this with me, anywhere, if I'm traveling or whatever, we got to do it during the week. So,
Yeah. Heck yeah.
but
Well, that's good. Well, I mean, as far as actual wrestling is going, I know last time we talked was after US Open, after the
after
other one,
trials too, right?
trials, and yeah, and then leading up to Final X. Well, Final X did happen. So we're going to go over
Yeah.
that, go over a little bit of some of our picks that we chose. And, I would say there's a few that we, I feel like got wrong. And people kind of showed up. So,
Yeah, and I think we went out. I mean, I think a couple of matches we probably went out on a limb and maybe made a bold prediction of sorts that, you know, I'm not saying that it was the wrong pick necessarily, but I think it was kind of more just for fun than anything.
yeah.
But I will say a lot of these matches this year felt like for the first time that it was, a little toss-uppy. There were some matches that certainly were kind of in the balance, and you kind of saw that right at the start. Now, I know we'll just start at weight order. I know they started in a different order, but we'll start at weight order. But I mean, Spencer Lee goes out and gets Luke Lillidahl, but, he lost that match at the Open. And so there was a lot of questions coming into it. Like, had Luke kind of passed Spencer?
Mm-hmm.
Or, was that a lucky headlock that he got at the end of that match in the US Open? And I think we both predicted, Spencer to win. And he looked pretty dominant against Luke Lillidahl.
Yeah, he did, and even still having, I guess, what seemed a little bit of like injury. I don't know, was that like that happened in that second match, or like
Yeah,
maybe
so like
something a
his
little bit
elbow was all
Yeah,
in a tape job or whatever he had going on. That happened at the US Open, and he tweaked it a little. It looked like at the US Open because it wasn't taped before that. And then at the World Team Trials, you saw it taped, and then you saw it that way at Final X as well.
yeah, and he, I mean, like the last one finished 8-4, but I mean, for the most part, Spencer Lee looked like Spencer Lee, and I hope for him for the best that he can be healthy when we get to World Championships, because it's not till August, right? Or is it later than that? You know that off the top of your head?
I think it's later than that. I actually don't know that off the top of my head. It's typically like September time period.
Yeah.
But I know they maybe had to make some changes because they moved the venues, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be somewhere else, and then now it's in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, October 24th to November 1st.
Yeah, October. Okay, yeah. Yeah, which is crazy because normally I feel like it's around that September time period that they do it. October's late, man. That feels really late because normally I feel like you can make a world team and it doesn't really interfere with the college schedule at all, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really cross over. You kind of get that, you get your you kind of get it out of the way, and then you can kind of turn your focus onto college. I mean, now basically you have this, and then you turn around the next weekend and there's college action.
Well, the funny thing, and we can get into that, but I mean, you will only have like two people on the team. Well, besides like the alternates and everything, but only have a couple people affected by that because we had some old boys do pretty good here at Final
We
X,
did.
and we'll get into that. But a lot of them
Mm,
outside of college now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Spencer obviously not in college. I mean, we'll just run through it. I mean, either way, you were going to have a college guy at 61 kilos.
Hmm.
65 kilos is still up in the air. We can talk about that too as well. 70 kilos, non-college guy. That was going to be that way either way. But, Ridge, a lot more recently removed from college. 74, non-college guy, but, same thing, right? Is it the old guy or the kind of younger guy you think you kind of expect to be there? 79, similar thing. 86, old guy again. 92 was not at Final X, but Trent, wins that one. And then, Kyle Snyder wins at 97. And then you kind of have kind of a similar Mason and Wyatt are similar ages, but, just kind of similar styles as well. But yeah, I find it kind of crazy. Like Zahid, that one doesn't really like surprise me all that much. The Dake Zahid one,
Hmm.
just because like Zahid's always been kind of up and down as a competitor. Like, and he had a scorched earth performance last year,
Yeah.
and then he's kind of looked vulnerable in some times this year. But the James Green one like kind of blows my mind just because like he had kind of moved on to like being full-time coach at Virginia Tech. He had accepted that position at Virginia Tech. I'm pretty sure before he even now I don't think they made the announcement until after won the US Open, but he had like already agreed to that. I'm pretty sure like well before that. So he had kind of like accepted like I'm going to be a full-time coach, and now he just throws his hat in the ring at 74 kilos for the world championships. And you know I think you give Carr a pass at the U.S. Open, right? Like you're kind of like whatever, and then he goes out and kind of has a shaky performance at the World Team Trials, but gets it done. But I feel like James Green kind of, I mean, other than like a couple of minutes, James Green controlled them all three matches, really.
Yeah, he did. If my memory serves me right, I think I picked James Green, and
Wow.
it was not really because of James Green being James Green, but it was just because of David Carr and how
Yeah.
a little bit
Looking
more like
vulnerable.
it
I
can.
mean, he really is.
Yeah,
He looked vulnerable I mean, he lost another match to at the U.S. Open, which I mean, you kind of gloss over all that stuff. He lost to Joe Seeley, but you kind of gloss over all that just because you're like, oh, he won World Team Trials. But I mean, he was on the brink of losing in a couple of those matches. He almost lost to. I mean, obviously, he almost lost in the finals to. I can't remember the kid's name. The absolute James, Jaden
James
James.
Green, Jane James. Oh
Jaden
yeah,
James.
yeah,
And he almost lost to Jarrett Jacques. Maybe it's just the J's. Maybe
yeah.
he has trouble with guys named Jay. No, actually, that is what it is. I mean, besides the Cam, I know he lost to Cam Amin, but let's think about it. James Green, Jaden James, Jarrett Jacques, and Joe Seeley. He's had a lot of trouble with all those guys. I mean, it's all guys with the
Who did he get
J's.
now I need to look back who he got upset at or upset from in like the quarterfinals at NCAAs after a year after he won.
No, that was Hunter. It was around a 16 actually. It wasn't the
Round of
quarters. It was around a
16.
16. It was Hunter Willett. Hunter Willett. Is
What's
that
his
it?
middle name? Maybe it's James.
Yeah, Hunter James Willett. We got to look up who beat him at World. I don't
Yeah,
remember the guy's name that beat him at Worlds, but it's got to start with a J.
we're on to
No, I
something
mean,
here.
I mean, look, the I think the big talking point that I come away with from that, like, obviously we can talk about James Green all we want. He looks spectacular. Like we can get into that, whatever. But like, where's Mitchell Messenbrink at? Like
Yeah,
this dude goes out and posts on Instagram like, oh yeah, like all you get your licks in now. He's like posting online. I'm like, dude, show up. What are
yeah,
you talking about? Get your licks in now.
yeah. What's going on?
Like, I mean, maybe the dude just needed a break. I get it, but I mean, I feel like that's the guy right now. He is our best. I feel like he's our best option. And I'm not just saying that he, should be. I'm not that type of person. Like, you got to go through the process to be the rep. Like, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, show up. Like, you're gonna post on Instagram about, like, come on. Like,
Yeah,
I wish he was there.
I do too. I mean, because the way that David Carr has seemed a little bit more vulnerable, and James Green has been like on a good tear and has wrestled, performed really well, but knowing that like Mitchell Messenbrink is still there, and I don't know if James Green pulls off that just the way that his style I think clashes a lot more with like James Green and would be able to score a lot more points. James Green did look like a good vet there. Like he did lose that, was it the second one that he was like winning and then came back and lost,
Second match, yeah.
but he yeah, it's just it always is like that question. Well, first off, if Mitchell was there, how many of the team members would be Nittany Lion Wrestling Club? It'd be pretty like we're already at what, half of them, or that would be maybe half, but
61, 70,
70.
could be 74, 79, 86, 97. Yeah, it'd be a lot. It'd be a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Well, let's go back down, and we talked about Spencer, and Spencer showed up and with Spencer. But going into 61, Marcus Blaze and Jax Forrest. This is one we were both maybe is a little bit more of a heart pick, but um still went 2-1. Some pretty close matches, some like interesting calls, and Marcus able to pull out the 2-1, but it didn't seem. I don't want to not give Marcus Blaze his flowers because he wrestled well and he's a really good freestyle wrestler and he stays in good position and he's extremely hard to score on. Jax Force, it just didn't seem like I don't know if it was the game plan. It just didn't. It seemed like he was having trouble opening up against Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, all of these matches kind of wanted to make me throw up, honestly.
Yeah,
I didn't really like watching them, if I'm being completely honest. They were kind of boring. It was a chess match of sorts, which I don't know. I mean, that's not typical of a Jax Force match, so it's kind of like it makes you feel like Marcus kind of imposed his game plan, but at the same time, I felt like Jax was the one kind of controlling center, controlling a little bit more of like, I don't want to say the pace, but just you felt like if something was going to happen, it was going to be from Jax. At least that's the way I saw it. I know Marcus, the scores that did happen in the first and the third match were generated by Marcus. Now, you can talk about the third match and kind of that score, which was a little wonky. I think if Jax wouldn't have had a lapse and let go at the leg right there, they could have challenged it and gotten away with no points there because I don't think Jax exposed at all. But regardless, I don't really think either guy did a whole lot that I was like super impressed by. I mean, either time you beat one of these guys once or twice, it's impressive because their talent level's so high. It's through the roof, and that's clear. But it leaves you kind of wanting, I just wishing for a little bit more. I don't,
yeah,
I don't know more of what, like, not more of what I saw, but like more out of both of those guys in a match where they have to wrestle each other. But I just don't know if we're going to get that. I don't know if these guys wrestle in freestyle and we get a ton of action ever.
yeah,
Just the way the scoring is and the way that points kind of come in a premium. Now in a folk style match, you may, just because Jax can kind of flop around and expose his back and get in a lot
yeah,
more scramble situations and just kind of do whatever. And
yeah,
you see him, he'll take a little bit more chances in a folk style match just because he knows that he's going to be able to scramble out and not give
right.
up, not give up crazy points. So yeah, I mean, what did you take away from that? I wasn't very I wasn't thrilled either way.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's like this. I don't know. It just felt like something's missing here, and I think that was with a lot of the matches. To your point, it's like
Yeah,
all of them were. I'm gonna score off like this reattack,
yeah,
and like which is what like a lot of the other countries. I feel like when you start watching some of the
that's a
elite
good
level
point.
wrestling,
It
it's
kind of looked like and I don't mean to cut you off. It
you're
kind
good.
of looks like we have changed our style to be more like we look very foreigner in
Yep.
our approach.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing at all. I think some of it's good. We've learned a little bit more about like having tactics and being
Hmm.
tactical. But I don't know. Have we lost some of that edge of like what makes America really good at freestyle? You know, like
Yeah,
our
being able to
pace,
pull
our
out some,
you know,
yeah, pull out some quick takedowns and
yeah, like our
like,
ability to kind of just like go to legs whenever, you know, like
yeah,
even if you kind of throw caution to the wind. I'm not saying that's what we have to do. But it's interesting you brought that up. It kind of made me feel that way. A lot of it was very underwhelming to me.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's sometimes if you watch, like, if you watch two guys that aren't wrestling that aren't US. Now this isn't every foreigner, but like it is like nip and tuck. Like I'm gonna if I can get my attack, I'm gonna score. Okay, that might be all I score this period. I'm gonna try to go more. I'm gonna like squeeze out a push out and just like fighting for points and controlling. It just doesn't. It felt different. It felt different watching it for sure in Final X, but.
Yeah, but see, and maybe it's just because I kind of know our style and I know what we can do, what we're capable of. I feel like when we watch a match with a U.S. guy versus a foreigner, it doesn't look that way. It's like typically, you know, they may score early or they get a shot clock score or something like that, and we're always kind of the ones chasing them down. You know,
Hmm.
like you know Trent chasing the guy down in the finals last year,
Yeah.
like Levi chasing that Russian guy down in the semis. You know, that's kind of what it looks like to me. And I feel like maybe sometimes because it's two US guys, it's like that kind of goes away. That you don't really see that happening very much when it's two US guys going at each other. So yeah, that's a good point. I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah. It is, and I think one point, like one person who really does that well, and it maybe because he has been wrestling internationally so much, is the next one, where like Zane
Is
Rutherford.
Zayn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you know, Zayn was the better guy. I think you could kind of tell he was just the better freestyler. He's just a better wrestler. I mean, he really is. He's a better wrestler. And I picked Ridge just because I think he was on an absolute heater, and I like his style. I like Ridge's style for freestyle. I don't know how well he would do against maybe some foreigners. I think he would give some guys some problems, but I think he may run into a guy here or there that, you know, kind of squanders that party a little bit, that Ridge can, you know, he can give some guys some problems. But yeah, Zayn looked good. He looked like he looked better, right, from his
yeah,
US Open or his trials
yeah.
run.
And even from like RAF, which maybe we need to get back into some RAF here soon, 'cause that they're still going.
There's
All
a
those
big card this
UFC
weekend. That
fighters.
that that Tbilisi card, Sadulayev Snyder this weekend.
Yeah, is it? It's in
Yeah.
like Georgia. Did I make
It's
that up?
in
Is that right? Yeah,
Tbilisi, Georgia.
Tbilisi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It's
I
a it's
think.
a very big card.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably their most star-studded card worth of, like, Olympic level guys. They've got a lot of
How
Russians.
many like Olympic
Yeah.
like medalists are in that card? Which hey, we got it. Maybe we should give him some props because we were talking about RAF last year, even after like the first one. And I know we're kind of a
Yeah.
little bit all over the place with this podcast, but hey, it's
That's
been
alright.
it's been a
That's part
minute.
of it. We've been
Yeah,
off.
that's we're doing it.
Let's
But
just go ahead and look
they've
at the
yeah,
pull up
look
the
at the card
card.
because they've done a great job of like making it entertain. Like I've watched everyone, I think, and the only thing I know, the probably the criticism they get is like who they make like the main event, because a lot of times it's more like the UFC guys, and a lot of times like the co-main or the one before that are really good wrestlers, like more in like the wrestling
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, like, I mean, the main event for this one is Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo, which, like, dude, I'm cool. Like, it's Marab. Marab's a superstar. So is like Henry's an Olympian. Like I don't mind that at all. But the problem becomes that you have the best wrestler in the world on the co-main.
Yeah,
Like okay, that's fine. Like, don't put it next to the guy that's the best wrestler in the world
yeah, yeah.
because I don't know. I
It's a
just think it
wrestling
looks different.
event.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
you literally
wrestling
have
event.
Sadulayev right below him. So
Yeah, but I will say they've done a good job. It seems like they're always like still trying to think of like new ways, and they keep signing people that are really good wrestlers. They just got like Jordan Burroughs in there, and they're signing these UFC fighters. And I think a lot of I think it has probably brought in some new viewers that like, oh, I want to see how this guy wrestles, and just to see some more people compete that they like. Even you still get a little bit of the like Dylan Dennis and the guy he just lost to, but they got in a little brawl at the end of the match.
Hamzat.
Hamzat, yeah. Shmaev, yeah, it's that'll happen a little bit once you get the heated personalities. And I know people are like, there's no room in this for the sport, but I mean, that's what happens when you start to bring some, like MMA guys, and that's what they're doing every day. I remember one guy who like trained for MMA when I was in high school, and he came back and just wanted to wrestle, and I took him down and went straight to like a guillotine, and I was like, whoa, 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 we're wrestling here, buddy. And it's just like
Yeah.
also a little bit more second nature to them now. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they have Zhamalov. He's the second match on the card. The dude was an Olympic champion in 2024. They have Kashingishvili wrestling Connor Beebe. It's just crazy, man. They've got, I mean, this thing is stacked with names. I mean, these guys are some of the best, like legit dudes. Of course, they've got Armin on this card again. I mean, Armin, I feel like wrestles on every card.
yeah, I think he has, and I don't remember last time he's like fought in the UFC, but he's
It's
he's
been a
uh
while.
he's okay with being the face of RAF right now, and I guess bringing in some
I
fans.
think his
So
last fight was Charles Oliveira. He had a crazy close fight with Charles Oliveira. I think that was his last fight.
yeah, and now he wants to fight Gaethje, I think, after that last one. But
Yeah. Well, no, the next one is Sarukian Covington, July 18th. I mean, that's in 2 weeks.
yeah,
They're going to turn around and do Sarukian. No, wait, is that in 1 week? That'd
July
be in
18th.
1
Yeah,
week from this
1 week from
weekend.
Saturday. Yeah.
So he's going to turn around and be the headliner at the next card that's in Milwaukee.
Hey, that is the
Dude's a
good thing.
nut.
That is the good thing about wrestling, that you can do that. Like if you're in a UFC fight, like he's not gonna fight the next week unless he didn't get hurt at all. Like that you can do that. And that's actually, that brings me to another point. That maybe unless you got anything else for Final X, and for RAF, I'll hop back into Final X.
Yeah, I have one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Ben Askren is wrestling next
Yeah.
weekend.
That's next weekend?
Freaking crazy.
Yeah. That
is crazy.
I'm like nervous.
Yeah, same.
I mean,
I want
I'm
him
sure
to be taken care of.
You think Bilal is gonna hold back anything? He's just gonna go for it.
I don't know. I truly don't. That to me that kind of blows my mind. Ramazanov is on that card. Oh my gosh.
Minto and O'Toole, that'd be good. See, they're doing a good job of like, okay, he's wrestling Sinclair. They're doing a good, like, as a wrestling fan, you're gonna look at these like, oh, I'm gonna watch these. And also I think maybe old UFC people too, like I see, it might not be a very exciting matchup, but I see Clay Guida and Frankie Edgar, and I'm like, I want to watch them wrestle.
Yeah,
I wanna
you
see
remember
that.
those names. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but they're doing a good job. I would say we were a little bit like tough on, like at first, like we don't know. We're gonna see how it's gonna go. And I think it was probably been a year since, I don't know when they started.
They've
It's
been
probably
crushing
close
it,
to,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they've been good and been able to put some good cards together. I think
RAF
also
1 was August 29th of last year was RAF
Really?
1. Do you
Yeah,
want to know
so
who the finals was?
um
Or the main?
what was that like Mason Paris, White
It
Hendrickson? Or am I
was
making that up?
it was Bo Nickel and Jacob Cardenas.
Mm,
So you can see how their business model has changed
yeah.
from what they started at to, their first one was Nickel Cardenas. Second was Dake Makoev. So, wrestling. The next was Mendez and Michael Chandler, which you're
Yeah.
starting to see some of that like
Yeah.
MMA vibe. The one after that, Hendrickson and Mason Paris. And then they went Covington and Rockhold MMA. And then it's been nonstop, pretty much MMA from that point on. It's been Cejudo Faber, Sarukian Poulos, Sarukian Faber, Stevenson Romanov, Gable, obviously huge star,
Yeah.
Hamzat, Danis, and then Dwalishvili, Cejudo, Sarukian, Covington, and then Burroughs is going to have his match August 22nd.
I will say that is one thing that excites me about this. If you're a wrestling fan, like especially like in high school, like I didn't watch too much international wrestling. You're introducing these guys now as you see them watching some matches. Like I probably wouldn't have watched friggin' Magomedov wrestle, but now he's wrestling Trent Highlight. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch him wrestle, and then see that match, and then when it pops up back in like a world championship, I'm like, oh, I remember him came and did
Yeah,
RAF
I
there,
remember that guy. Yeah. Yep, good point.
but
All
they're
right,
doing
I'll
they're
let us
doing
get
good.
back on track.
Okay, well, hey, I think that was good for us to talk about. My dogs are barking because I think they've done a good job of like solidifying themselves. So like, hey, we want to be a place where wrestlers can still make some money and compete after. But what I was gonna say, maybe along the same lines of that, is these guys now that are wrestling in Final X. I think part of the reason they, sometimes are not as like consistent is because you are now think about guys in like the UFC and guys that are competing spread out throughout the year. It's like you're almost like training camps, like you're getting ready for your like one match or like your one tournament, and it depends a lot more on your training than like when you have these guys in college that are training almost like year round. So I feel like that's maybe a little bit where some inconsistencies come once these guys are outside of college, but I don't know, just something I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
and I think it's been that way, right? Like we saw that, we used to say, and I'm not saying used to say as in it doesn't happen anymore. I still think it happens. Guys would finish their best time to make the world team was like right out of college. I think we see a little less of that now because guys are becoming like the level you have to get at freestyle wise to compete at that level. You see guys make freestyle jumps after college, right?
Yeah.
Like they just focus on freestyle and maybe they make a jump in their freestyle game.
Hmm.
But it doesn't feel like the top guys are that way. It feels like to me, if you are like the best guy in college, you make a little bit of a couple of transitions, you change a couple things up and like then you're still the best guy. So I would say like for some of those like middle level guys that like are trying to make a team and they're like maybe third or fourth on the ladder, they do need some time out of college to like catapult themselves and get better in freestyle and do those things. But like you like if you'll notice like the guys that are the best in college, they just make a few changes and then they're still the best in freestyle.
Yeah.
Spencer Lee was the best guy in college, right? Like Levi Haynes was the best guy in college. Kyle Dake was the best guy in college. David Taylor was the best guy in college. Jordan Burroughs, like, I mean, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I know for a fact that guy is gonna go on like a crazy tear. Like
Yeah.
Trent Hidley, like certainly wasn't the best guy in college,
No.
right? Like never won an NCAA
Yeah.
title, certainly wasn't. But now he's a world champ.
Mm.
You know, I'm trying to think of other guys that like are,
Marsteller is a good one. He took some big jumps, I feel like, because,
for sure.
well,
Yeah.
in high school was like the guy,
He was the guy though in high,
Yeah.
he didn't, obviously he probably ran into some personal things that held him
Yeah.
back. But no, I mean, it's these guys get out of college and a lot of them are like ready to go. Now they're doing it in college. I mean, hell, Jax did it in high school. Bo is going to be enrolled in Virginia Tech or probably already is and he's on the verge of making a world team. I mean, these guys are doing it younger, but I think it's because they do more freestyle training and folk style training. They just get better at wrestling and they make little transitions from folk style to freestyle and they
Yep.
do it really well.
Have they announced when that Bassett
I
and
don't think
Rilla?
so.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so
so.
either. I was
And
just thinking about
the
that.
longer it goes on, the more I'm like turned off by the fact that you can just like delay a wrestle off this long. Unless they said, no, they didn't say Fargo. I was going to say maybe because I know that Jax did Fargo last year, but I'm pretty sure Fargo is this week or next week, and Bassett's doing like U20 Pan Ams or something. He's going to go
Well,
wrestle for 2.5 minutes
yeah,
down
yeah.
in where, he's going to go destroy everybody.
Well, I mean, we kind of hit on both the guys, but Levi Haynes, Marsteller, Levi pulled out both of those, which we kind of, it was kind of
Yeah, he looked great.
how I thought we were gonna go. Getting to like the bigger boys, I mean, Zahid and Kyle Dake. I want to hear your thoughts on those few matches because
Yeah,
they went
again, I don't
three.
think it was a crazy result. I mean, Dake looked good. I think Zahid looked good too. I don't think either one of them looked bad. Zahid just is that type of guy where I think he has to be like the most motivated person in the world. And it seemed like right when he got to Stillwater, he hit a spike immediately and he made the world team, beat Kyle Dake a bunch of times, wins worlds, destroys everybody, wrestler of the year. And then we see a lull, and I think that lull is kind of carried over a little bit. I think at least what you see from that, that's the only thing you can kind of take away from that is that he's not the same guy that he was last year. Not saying he can't. I think his level is obviously that he can get to that level, but how motivated is he? I don't know. Maybe it's like, how motivated do I want to stick? I don't know if Zahid is a guy that can stay motivated that long. You know, maybe he needs a kick
Yeah.
in the teeth. Some guys can just stay motivated the whole time and stay locked in, and maybe he's just not that guy. Maybe he needs some time off. Maybe he needs to go, be reinvigorated and come back for 27 or come back for 28 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, really, ideally, if it, you want to make the team in 27 so you can medal and have a spot in the finals at the Olympic
Yeah.
trials. That's really what you want. Next year is the most important year, in my opinion, on making the world team and trying to get a medal.
Because you have your spot, like, and you're sitting there waiting, just have like the wrestle off. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I mean, you're
Yeah.
already sitting in the best 2 out of 3,
Yeah.
which is massive for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Obviously only Olympic weight. So that's why you'll see guys next year already start to, I think, come down to those weights. Not this year, but next year. I think you'll really start to see those guys. Caleb Henson did an interview with Flo talking about how he's going to eventually get back down to 65 kilos. So
Hmm.
for a 2028 run. And you'll
Yeah.
just hear, I think you'll see that more and more, guys will start deciding on weights kind of now to figure out what their body's going to do and figure out what they're going to do to their bodies
Yeah.
and then go from there. But no, I thought Kyle looked great. I mean, Kyle could win worlds. I think he's going to have an uphill battle. He's probably an undersized guy going in there. It's a tough weight class. There's some really good dudes there, but it's Kyle Dake. I mean, he can do anything.
Yeah. And I think this one did play out a little bit like if Zahid pulled it out, we'd be like, okay, Zahid is back. But Kyle just seemed to have a little bit better of a game plan, especially like in these like all the matches. I mean, even the one that he lost, that first one, it was like a little bit iffy of like the
Little
scoring. Is like
controversy. Yeah.
I will say that is one thing though that we got what it was like four of the series that went to 3 matches, and so if the positive is that we just got more wrestling, so that was fun
True.
about it.
True. Yeah, which was good. I mean, like I mean, I would have never thought Kyle Snyder would have lost a match, and we got to see an extra Kyle Snyder match, but that happened.
Yeah, yeah, that was
I,
interesting
I
as well.
thought we were going to possibly get 3 with Mason and Wyatt, but that kind of just ended up going Mason's way, which I think after the first match, you could kind of probably tell that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm really curious to see how Wyatt does at Worlds this year. He went 0-1 last year, didn't look great. He seems to be focused. He seems to be kind of like you hear the Stilly Boys stuff that they've got pumping out, and he seems to be very locked in. So, we got to wait all the way till October, but
yeah,
I'm very curious to see what he can do.
yeah. Maybe a little bit early for our like medal prediction.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely
You never
early,
know.
but I mean, if you have to look at this team, like, I mean, I think Spencer's a medal threat. I think Marcus is certainly a medal threat. I think Real or Bo is a medal threat. I think Zane is a medal threat. I don't know if James Green is a medal threat. I mean, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know. I don't know how you can't say Levi's not a medal threat. Hell, he could be
Right.
a gold threat.
Yeah.
Dake's a medal threat. Trent medal threat. Kyle medal threat, Wyatt. I think to me, the 2 biggest wild cards to me are James Green and Wyatt. You've kind of got the guy that hasn't been on the team in a long time. He's at a different weight. And then you got the guy in Wyatt that's kind of an unknown on the world scale, right? Like he went 0-1 last year. What does he have? So everybody else, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, that guy's got
Yeah.
a chance to medal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Last thing on hit on Final X is I mean, like Trent and Machiavello, like they had to move that one, right? Because it was
yeah.
Trent's wedding. Was Machiavello in the wedding? Is that or was he just
So that's what
there?
I heard. I don't actually know. I heard he was. which is pretty cool, if he was in the wedding,
Yeah,
but I
it is
mean,
cool.
kind
But
of,
how do you do that day? Like,
man,
you just gotta
man.
not even think
I
about it,
think you got
or
to talk beforehand, right? Like you got to
yeah,
kind of like, I mean, hey man, let's have a conversation before this and figure out like we're best friends, we're best buds. You're going to be at my wedding, like, we need to kind of
happen.
set some ground rules before we don't talk about it or whatever. So,
Like, if like, and I'm sure that it was totally fine, and they probably like joked about it a little bit. But how wild would that wedding have been if Machiavello upset Trent? Do you think
yeah,
like
good point, right? Like, I mean, the guy's having the biggest day of his life, but I mean, in the back of his head, he's a little heartbroken, and the guy that crushed his dreams is at his wedding. I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's so,
But
like,
I
I
mean,
think
not that Machiavello doesn't feel that way being at Trent. Oh, I got to go to a wedding for a guy that just crushed my dreams.
yeah,
But it's probably a little easier to swallow knowing that, like, well, for one, like I know Mike, like he's salt of the earth, like
yeah,
absolutely great human being, right? Like
yeah.
he's a great dude. But two, like Trent's a world champ. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think everybody assumed Trent would win, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying Maki that makes it any easier on Mike Mock, but
But it just seems like it would be a little bit of an
it would be
interesting
a little bit
tension if it
harder
was the other
if
way.
Mike Mock won. Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
We're on the hard hitting thoughts over here at First Takedown.
Of course. I mean, that's emotions that we can't even begin to fathom. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
that's it's a
Nobody's
lot.
talking about that. All right. Now let's get into, and I want you maybe explain a little bit more about this new NCAA ruling, for the, is it no red shirts? Yeah, just explain to me like I'm five.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this year, these guys will be the first ones that they can choose either rule set, I'm pretty sure. And anybody that is still in college can choose either rule set. And it's either you can opt into the old rules or the new rules. And the new rules are before your 19th birthday, if you are enrolled in school, you will have you will have 5 chances at a postseason, right? So for wrestling purposes,
Yeah.
right? So, it applies to all sports, but it's 5 for 5. You go 5 years and you get 5 shots. There's no red shirts. There's no, Olympic red shirts jumping through hoops, doing all this stuff. Like you get 5 chances, but you're in school for those 5 years, and it's before your 19th birthday that you have to be enrolled to have an opportunity to do the 5 for 5. Where it gets a little interesting was they had a date of August 1st originally that was, or yeah, August 1st, that you had to still be 18 by August 1st
Hmm.
to be able to opt in to 5 for 5. If not, you'd only get 4 years, right? I think this year they're waiving that because they just changed the rule. So you can opt into the rule set, but you can still be 19 prior to that date. But moving forward, that will be the case. So like if a guy is going to turn 19 before August 1st, he would need to go ahead and he would need to go ahead and do college early. He would need to graduate and do what Jax did, basically.
Yeah.
Jax kind of got lucky. I don't want to say lucky. I think maybe they knew this was coming, honestly.
Hmm.
I think Oklahoma State knew something like this was coming. I mean, good for them. Absolutely brilliant move. Because that would have sucked had Jax not been able to, he basically lose a year of eligibility. Now
Yeah.
Jax gets 4 more chances to win
Yeah.
to win a national title. So does Sergio Vega. So does some of these other guys that were Brandon Robidoux, guys that
Robbie.
were red shirts that get to go right away and haven't taken a red shirt year, will get 4 more shots.
Interesting. Okay, so
Luke Lillidahl will get 3 more chances.
really.
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, what you're saying is Carter Strachey might not be the only 5-time champ here in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's seeming like. You know, I don't think that it's a little too early to say, hey, I think, Landon and Sergio and Jax are all gonna go five for, they're gonna win 5 titles. I think it's a little early for that. Yeah, because those guys would be the only contenders right now for. They were the only true freshman national champs.
And but this others still like if you're enrolling and before 19, like if somebody else was coming in, like Bo Bassett still has a chance to do 5.
Yes,
Okay, okay,
from
gotcha.
what I've heard,
Yeah,
Bo will start. This will be his first year. He will wrestle probably 141 for Virginia Tech,
yeah.
and he'll have this year and then 4 more years after that of postseasons.
So the only thing this makes it just a little bit trickier for like a Penn State and Oklahoma State where they could redshirt people instead of now they like have
Yeah,
to have like a
you can't get as creative, but it kind of takes some of that. Oh well, I'm going to come in red shirt. I'm going to come in and do this, and
yeah.
get a year of development. Like, it's like, nah, man. Like, it's go time. Like, get in there, try to make the starting lineup. If you don't, get better and try to make it next year.
Mhm.
And yes, it does make it a little harder, at least for the recruiting of like, we get this guy in and he
Yeah.
because guys are going to want to start 5 years.
Yeah.
They're going to want 5 cracks. Now, what do you value? Do you value 3 cracks at Oklahoma State? Or do you value, 2 cracks at Penn State? Or do you value, 5 cracks at Clarion,
Mhm.
or 5 cracks at, Little Rock? And so that's what some of these guys are going to have to decide is I think you could see guys still do the same thing
Yeah.
of going to school. They're going to sign with big schools. They're going to spend a year there. They're going to realize they're not the man for the job. They're going to be getting beat by whoever is at their school, and then they're going to transfer somewhere else.
Did is that the official term cracks? Like you get 5,
Cracks.
3,
Like
4, 5? Yeah, okay.
that's my official term. No, like, you know, I don't think I was going to say like nothing intended like sexually by that at
Yeah.
all. Like no,
He
no
said
butt cracks.
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Just so you never know these days.
yeah,
That's interesting. So that could potentially, I mean, potentially be good also just for not having so much like people kind of going to some other schools. Then, like we were talking about the end of the year of like, is there going to
yeah.
be these same 3 or 4 schools
Well,
over and
so
over?
they came out with this rule, but the transfer portal is closed.
Yeah,
So
that's
like the only way you'd be able to do it is do what like some of these guys have done in the past where they just don't care that the transfer portal is closed. They just unenroll at a school and then they go re-enroll somewhere else and then they
yeah,
figure it out on the back end.
interesting.
So I'm pretty sure like that's what Rocco Welsh
Right?
did.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He just like enrolled at Penn State. Just
Hey,
showed
I'm
up.
I'm just
Hey, I
gonna get
want to
out of
wrestle
here.
here. You guys
Yeah.
mind if I come and wrestle here?
Hi, I'm Rocco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting though. That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that'll play out in the next
Yeah,
little
we're
bit.
gonna this not the end of that this year. There's gonna be
Yeah.
big time. There are huge ramifications for a lot of these starting spots. These starting spots were already like very, very competitive at like Oklahoma State, Penn State, Iowa State, Michigan, Ohio State, but now they're even more. I think there's even more rarity to being a starter at a program like that. Just being a
Yeah.
starter. If
Yeah.
you are a starter for Penn State or Oklahoma State or Ohio State, you are legit because just to make the team and be that starter, you got to beat out some really good guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And now I wonder, do we see? I mean, I know we have like the national duels. It's in like November, December this year.
Yeah, it's in December. Could look that up real quick.
It's interesting though, because in like how much more will they be still like testing their lineup of like seeing if somebody's the guy or kind of
Nonstop.
yeah
And that's going to be very frustrating to people because we get frustrated with teams like saying that they, or their starter is, this starter, that starters, but you can just have multiple starters. You can have
yeah
multiple guys at a weight that are trying to make this the starting spot. And so, yeah, it is December 12th and 13th back in Tulsa.
yeah. That's right. Because I think they're maybe not doing the Nashville ones because of that. Um,
Yeah.
the the interesting part that interested in how it's gonna play out is the DraftKings lineups with all the uncertainty of the starters. Now it's not gonna be that uncertain, but you never know. I'll
You
never
never
know. We'll
know.
see. We'll see when it
You
gets back
never
into
know.
in every state. Not sponsored.
I mean,
Would
I
be.
think
Could
some of
be.
these the bottom line is I think what it takes away is I think the better teams, I actually think it makes handicapping lines a lot easier because the better teams, no matter who they throw out of the way, it's going to be a legit dude.
Yeah.
You know, if Little Rock doesn't wrestle Stephen Little, that's a big hole. If Oklahoma State doesn't wrestle Jax Forrest, they can wrestle Jordan Rainey. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I know that's maybe not the same level, but it's like, okay, if Oklahoma State doesn't wrestle D Lockett, they can wrestle Casey Swiderski. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I mean,
Yeah.
or, Alex Facundo. Like, there's an embarrassment of riches at some of these top tier programs. And, same with like Ohio State at 125. Like, no Buzakis. Okay, we'll wrestle Kirkiri. We'll wrestle Antonio Mills. Like, there's so many studs on some of these lineups. We'll
Yeah.
wrestle Dom Munaretto, which that's going to all sort itself out, right? Like these guys are going to end up probably moving on from these programs, unfortunately.
Yep. Yep. Think we'll start seeing it happen. Now, the only other thing I know that's like I guess the other topic, and we don't even have to give some more light to it, but it's just all the
Yeah, we
AJ
can
Ferrari
gloss over it.
stuff. It's just, we were wondering where he's going to go. And I think behind bars is probably his
Yeah,
next.
I think he's going to be there for a while. Don't want to like speculate. I think I saw a report where he's charged with a couple felony accounts, assault on a pregnant woman, which I think was his girlfriend at the time. He was caught speeding like going 130 miles per hour in like a residential neighborhood area. Just horrible. Not a good dude, not a dude I even really care to be talking about anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he was a big, guy that he was a big personality, and so because of that, we would talk about him. But man, I mean, just like what a piece of crap, like what a turd. So
Mark Manning was like, no thanks, let me get out of this. And it seemed
good on him, right?
Nebraska's like, yeah,
Yeah, good on
good
them,
work.
man. Their hands are clean completely on this. It's like I think and you saw like the ripple effect between them. Like you could see like at duels he would do the splits and like Snyder would like be like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Or, Brock Hardy would be like, this guy, like I swear, So I could only imagine what was actually being said behind closed doors, when they're having conversations about that. But coaches will do a lot for points at the national tournament. I'll tell you that much. That means a lot to them. They like having points
That
at the
did a
national
lot
tournament.
not for this year either, but for the next year and next couple
Yeah.
years, trying to get.
And AJ had a renaissance. He had that tournament a couple years ago
Yeah.
at Bakersfield, took third, looked good, looked like he was reformed. Did a couple of these right here, and everybody was like, sweet.
Yeah.
AJ's fine. He's good. Like, okay, like
Yeah.
he was masquerading the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, um, anything else, Hunter? I think that's the big bulk of I know what we were
Oh, dude, I'm
going
glad we
over
got
today.
to get back on here and chat a bit. We'll some more. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll have some more college stuff,
Maybe
U20s, U23s, stuff like that.
yeah, and then maybe we'll start, as there's a break in like freestyle, and maybe
Yeah,
we'll dig in a little bit more RAF, dig in some lineups
RAF
before next
lineup looks.
year.
Yep, yep.
Maybe some RAF picks. Who knows? They got
I think
lines
our
for that?
our exciting team next year is going to be Virginia Tech. I think that's the team we're going to be talking about next
Yeah,
year.
I'm gonna have to get a hat and a shirt. Landon's gonna
Yeah,
get me
I
one. I
mean, we
think.
won't fully fanboy out for him, but I think
Yeah,
next year that'll be the squad where we're
I'll be
going. Wow,
excited.
this
Yeah.
this is an exciting roster they can put together here. So
Yep. I will. Well, I appreciate you all listening. I think there's some good stuff. We're just digging in a little bit about what's been going on and what's coming up and exciting just changes in the sports.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Last
you
question. Have
listening.
you seen
Oh,
this guy on Instagram? His name is Grant Loy, and he has one bit that he does. And I'm gonna do it and then, tell our followers to basically do it. But he he will get on video and he'll be in front of like his like he'll be in a public place with his wife
yeah.
there or whatever. And he goes, then he gets her on camera and he'll be in a public place. He'll go, "What up, gang?" And she gets super embarrassed. She hates it every single time. She's like telling him to stop, and it's some of the funniest content out there.
Heck yeah.
And all he does is he's basically saying he's an influencer, but he does the
Yeah.
same thing in public. He just embarrasses his wife. He goes, "What up, gang?" And then he goes, "Smash the like button if you like frozen yogurt. I'm here at a frozen yogurt place. If you like frozen yogurt, smash the like button."
That's a good
And
bet.
I just want to let people know, what
What
up,
up,
gang,
gang? What
and
up, gang?
smash the like button.
Yeah.
If you like the pod, smash the like
Smash it.
button,
Tell your
smash the follow
friends.
button. Yeah,
Maybe we should probably get a guest on here soon too. So if you want a guest,
we do. Yeah, I need to
beep beep
try to
beep bop
work
beep beep.
I need to try to call any contacts that I have.
Hey, you got him. You
Yeah,
got him. But
some of them,
we'll see.
some of them. Yeah,
All
maybe I'll
right.
get Grant Loy on. That's the guy. I don't even know if he knows
What
anything
up,
about
gang?
wrestling, but I just want to be like, can you tell us the origin of what up, gang?
Yeah, I like it. I think that'd be good.
Cool.
All right. Peace.
Later.